Oh, you know what? This is the wrong. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Naya Athena, and welcome back to my channel. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, and let's get right into this recap. Avatar: The Last Airbender, episode 5, live action series on Netflix. Check it out. Um, this episode was really like a filler episode. Like I would say, I think. But it was still a good episode. Don't get me wrong. Like, it was just a lot going on, and you could tell it was kind of like a filler. And I feel like like I said, they did rush some stuff. Like, oh, keep in mind, y'all, I am gonna be soaking my nails because I need to take these nails off because my birthday is coming up. Okay, my birthday is next Wednesday, and I need to get some new nails because I hate the shape of these. Like, I actually hate it. But yeah, let's get into this recap. I still got my nose right here on my phone. And we're gonna get right into it. So we start this episode off, of course, Team Avatar, which is Katara, Sokka, and Aang right now in book 1. They are running from the Fire Nation. It's some Fire Nation soldiers trying to get them. And, we see them getting away, of course. And Katara, we see her bending. We see her make an ice sculpture and like shoot off icicles at the firebenders. Now, I'm saying this because it was so interesting how when Aang taught her, like when Aang was like, oh, like that's new, like, okay, I see you, pretty much saying, like, I see you. She was like, yeah, I learned it from the earthbenders. So we see Katara, learning, making up moves and stuff, and Aang was like, "That's you raw for real. Like you can make up your own moves. That's the signs of a good bender. Real, real sentimental." I was like, "You right," because Katara is raw. She's just not raw yet. She raw though. Trust and believe that. Like I can't wait for her to step into her character for real. Like I feel like she hasn't fully stepped into her character for real. But whatever. So then, as they get away on Appa, they run into this forest and they see the forest is burned down. So clearly, the Fire Nation did something because what's going on? And Aang is like, dang, like he feeling like he the cause of it because he ran away. He's like, I let the Fire Nation do this to life. Like, obviously Aang is an air nomad, so he has a very strong belief on life, and very strong appreciation and respect for life. So the fact that he's seeing none of it right now because the forest is burned down, it's like, dang, he feeling hopeless. And Katara gets a seed from Momo, and she was like, look, it's gonna grow back. You see this seed? Like, it's gonna grow back. Like, everything, life is a circle. It's always gonna come back, go away, can't get rid of it. Cool. Another significant moment, right? So right here we're seeing the relationship between Aang and Katara grow and as they become familiar. Y'all, I'm trying to talk, but this freaking bro, I accidentally poured I was thinking I had acetone, but it wasn't really acetone, y'all. It literally was like the stuff they use when they're using acrylic on nails, and it's so strong, and I'm like, ugh, burnt my nose, nostrils. But anyways, they find this village throughout this burnt up forest, and that's where the scene cuts. Then we see Azula, who is clearly in secret competition with Zuko, which it ain't so secret no more because she just outright like trying to convince the Fire Lord, like, good thing Zuko ain't find the Avatar because da 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 da, he on the run, da 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 da. But but the Fire Lord reminds her, like, actually Zuko did find the Avatar. Like he discovered that the Avatar was back in business, and pretty much saying like, girl, he got more of a chance at being in the air than you ever will, like, cause he's a boy, duh, like. But she like, no, like, she salty about that because she like, nah, bro, like, we know how Azula is. She wants to rule for some reason. I don't even know, like, cause in hindsight, not to be a spoiler or anything, but in hindsight, she could have never handled the pressure of being, like, Fire Lord or whatever. She's crazy. She's insane. Anyways, but we don't know that yet. We just know that she in secret competition with Zuko. Then we see Aang find this village, and now this is pretty much, I don't know why I want to call it a parable, because it's like a short story within the story. There was a lot of short stories within Avatar: The Last Airbender. So this particular one, like, I remember so well because it was such a good story. Like, it was so good. So this is where we get more knowledge about the spirit world. And Aang finds this village, and basically the village is like, it's they're like struggling pretty much. The village is struggling. And they're saying like, oh, the Fire Nation really, they didn't burn down nothing, like, we cool over here, but they just had to clear out that area or whatever. So that's why it looks like that. And they was like, we struggling with some other stuff. And Aang is like, what you mean? They're saying it's like a spirit. So at this point, Aang is like, okay, maybe I can talk to the spirit because I'm the Avatar. So he like, all right, let me see if I can talk to the spirit. Mind you, he ain't entered the spirit world willingly ever. He don't know nothing about that for real. So, or did he? No, I think he did enter though when he was in Kyoshi Island when he was talking to Kyoshi, but he hasn't entered the actual spirit realm. Like, he was only just talking to his spirit, you know what I'm saying? So it's different. So, boom. Just so happens Katara and Sokka end up being brought into the spirit world with him. So they're all three of them are in the spirit world. Now that in the original that was not the case, but we just gonna go along with it. Okay, cool. Then it cuts to Zuko and Uncle Iroh. Zuko over here trying to ask people around the shops and stuff, the little villages and stuff. Oh, have you seen? He's trying to have Riz. He's trying to, be slick with it, but also like thinking, I don't know. Zuko is weird. Like, he thinking like people just gonna talk to him. They're like, who is you? Like, so Uncle Iroh trying to show him how to be a little bit more sly. They end up running into this bounty hunter, which is my favorite. She's one of my favorite characters, like side characters, I should say. She's one of my favorite side characters. This is where we meet the best bounty hunter in the business, June. Then it cuts back to the spirit world with Katara and Sokka, and they run into the spirit of knowledge, which had me like, hold on. Because I don't remember seeing the spirit of knowledge until like book 3. Or maybe it was book 2, because Water Earth, no, book 2. Because the spirit of knowledge was in book 2 when some other stuff happened. So I don't remember seeing that. So I'm like, why are they talking to the spirit of knowledge right now? And the spirit of knowledge is a huge owl, but only Aang can hear him. Like, it just sounds like he's doing the hoo-hoo to Katara and Sokka, but Aang can actually hear him speaking like regular, like just being like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And the spirit reveals that Katara and Sokka are not supposed to be in the spirit world. Like, they're not supposed to be there, and they could pretty much be in some deep doo-doo. They could be some deep stuff if they're there too long, because there are spirits that will devour their souls. Like, they could be stuck there type. And he's like, yeah. And I remember that he said it will tell them truths that they aren't prepared for. So keep that in mind. And then it cuts back to Azula training and May and Ty Lee over there, kissing her butt. I don't like that. I don't like how they trying to portray May and Ty Lee, because yeah, they was with her, but they was not like up her. They was not up her like that. Like, they was not. They was not like, you the best in the game, Azula. You this, you that. They was not hyping her head up that much in the original. Like, they were just literally just hanging around her just because. Like, I don't like that, because it's giving like, nah, they was never really messing with Azula, and I don't like how they trying to make it like they was like fangirling over her, because they wasn't. I love Uncle Iroh. Like, he was trying to convince Zuko basically to utilize this bounty hunter, aka June, because she's the best bounty hunter in the business, and the fact that Zuko's sitting up here like, no, they have no honor. They have no honor, sir. You don't either. You are on the run. Like, you're trying to find the avatars to get your honor back. So you gotta do what you gotta do, pretty much. Uncle Iroh, like, sometimes you gotta take different routes. You gotta be creative, because these people who in charge, they not taking the right route either. They worse. So, and he was making a good point. And he was saying, you gotta think, like, she need this more than you need it. Like, she gotta eat, and yeah, take advantage of the situation. And Uncle Iroh was right, but I think Uncle Iroh also, Uncle Iroh is smart. He's a smart guy. So, what do we expect? Nothing less. Boom. Back in the spirit world, they have their first run in with a vengeful spirit, which is basically this spirit that looks like a scary animal, like that's finna devour them. And it looks scary because it's hurt. And so the gang ends up splitting up on the path because the spirit then ran up through them trying to, do whatever. And it split them up. So we see Sokka end up going one pathway. He ends up speaking to this three-tailed fox, which is another spirit, telling him, like, okay, you better chill. Like, but she just regular. She's like, hey, what you doing? Like, he like, what the heck? Like, no way I'm talking to a fox right now. And she basically was like, all right, you better be careful of that fog while you here. Like, okay, bye. And left. And then, side note, we don't get to see the fog. I don't remember seeing no fog in the spirit world or hearing about no fog in the spirit world until Avatar was over. Until Legend of Korra. So I don't know where this fog idea, I don't know why they did that, but maybe I'm tripping. Like, so then we see Katara and on her path, her separate path, and she's in a flashback of the day her mom was snatched by the Fire Nation. Was, well, more than that, but you get the point. So she's back in this flashback, but she's actually talking to her mom, and she's just taking it all in. And then, they tell her that she will be a great waterbender, which we all know is true, because she is going to be a great waterbender. She already is, but, she gets better and better. It's only up from here, Katara. So then she's actually, but this time she's actually in the room. I think she was in the room I don't know. She's in a flashback. So she's in the room when her mother is talking to the Fire Nation, and they're trying to tell her, like, where's the last waterbender? And she ends up saying, it's me. And she sees her mother get burnt to a crisp. It was so traumatizing. I'm telling you, whenever they show the Fire Nation, like, using that fire incorrectly, it is actually traumatizing. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, they really said, you gonna see all of this. And you know what? That's on period. And as she's feeling this pain and anguish, she gets snatched up by a spirit. Keep that in mind. So Sokka is taken to a day when he passed his cultural warrior trials. And this is his flashback of him with his dad. And then he overhears his dad doubting him because of how he passed and, like, how he barely made it through and da-da-da-da. And he starts to feel pain and despair and anguish. And, that same spirit snatched him right on up. Yep, it did. Then we see Aang, and Aang gets taken home, which is the Eastern Air Temple. Yeah. Of course, he immediately recognizes the trick, because he's like, nah, this ain't even right. Like, I seen my home. Like, I know it's messed up or whatever. So the spirit of many faces meets Aang, and he's like, oh, you must be the Avatar, because ain't nobody been able to resist. So he started pretty much explaining to Aang, like, we got beef. Me and you got beef. Like, in another life, yeah, we got beef. It's still up from here. And Aang sees Gyatso, which is his childhood father. So he sees Gyatso, and he's like, how am I seeing you right now? Like, how are you real? And Gyatso basically explains to him it's because he chose to be there. Like, he didn't choose the next stage of enlightenment, which would take him to, I guess, a higher stage of enlightenment. So he wanted to stay there because he knew that he would meet with Aang again, which is kind of smart if you think about it. Like, I'm telling you, the monks was the most spiritual. Like, they knew the tea. They was really enlightened for real. So then we start to get a little bit of insight about the fog of the lost souls, which, like I said, I don't remember ever seeing this in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, I only remember seeing this in The Legend of Korra. So we see Ko, who is the face stealer. Very scary spirit looking, very unnerving looking spirit. But I don't think he looked as scary in the live action as he did in the actual cartoon. Because in the cartoon, oh, he was creepy for real. And Aang decides that Aang is talking to him, whatever. Aang decides that he needs to talk to Roku, which is another Avatar past life, which is his, I think it's the previous past life, actually, like the one before him. And that's who he usually is like, I need to talk to Roku, like immediately. So before he leaves from talking to Jiasu, Jiasu basically assures Aang that he couldn't have saved the Air Nation. Like either way it would have went, he would have died. Like he couldn't have saved them. He was too young, you know, it was a lot going on pretty much. And, you know, Aang is like, okay, whatever. And he, well, not okay, whatever, but he just leaves abruptly. And then we see Azula tirelessly training again, and we see Zuko is tirelessly searching for Aang. And that ends episode 5. That was very much a filler episode. I'm very excited for episode 6. I cannot promise y'all it's gonna be up next week. I'm gonna try to get it up before I leave, but like I don't know. Like it's a lot going on. Like we'll see. We'll see. If you see me in this outfit twice, it's because I pre-recorded it. But we'll see. But with that being said, make sure you guys give this video a like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. And I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.